Risky behavior.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Welcome to Risky Behavior. This is the conversation that we had on Clubhouse talking about colorism. So just check out the audio. Afterwards, be sure to hit us up in the comment section with your thoughts and opinions.
Around and say, oh, this dark skinned man is very masculine and this light skinned man is more feminine. And that seems like an acceptable conversation. For me personally, it's not acceptable for somebody to say to me that I'm allegedly more feminine because I have lighter skin than a woman with dark skin. And so I feel like it's a conversation that anybody should have, especially women should always be having this conversation. And I also think that it's mostly, if we take away, corporate and house and all these jobs and them type of conversations, I think this is actually a conversation that's based off of what I like to quote male preference or the male gaze. And I think it needs to stop. I think it needs to stop
Well, but
because what it's actually
sorry.
doing is classifying people's what the fuck is the word, not, it's not sexuality, it's
Preference, maybe. Oh.
no, there's a word for it. Like, if you want to call me masculine, that shit is super inflammatory towards me. I have a deep voice. You know what I'm saying? I have an accent from New Orleans, and people say, "Oh, you a dyke." Like, bitch, how you gonna tell me what the fuck I like? And I just think that that's simply based on my voice. If I take my picture off of here, then that'll be another story. But for to tell a woman that she's masculine, a woman, that's a feminine woman, to tell her that she's masculine based off the way she looks or sounds or whatever, and she's obviously not. I, I don't know the friendly way to say that. A dyke, a bull that I don't fucking know.
Not
Whatever.
bulldagger. I'm
But
crying.
I don't know. She's obviously not that. You know what I'm saying? But you
but
want to say that to her. I think that's highly offensive. Some women who are in that world may find it to be like, oh yeah, I'm masculine. But as a woman, to tell for a man to tell a woman you're masculine, based off of your quote unquote preference or how you perceive that woman, I think that's a horrible thing to do. You know what I'm
So it
saying?
sounds
And
like
then
you're saying because you understand their what they go through, regardless of how they feel about you speaking up, you're going to speak up regardless because you stand in
I don't think
solidarity
I
with
don't
them.
think I don't think people really, I think that's a male led
So
conversation.
is it?
Oh, I don't think light skinned women should speak about no issues within the community because damn the fuck.
So is
I wouldn't
it?
give a fuck. If somebody felt like that about me, well then that's all on them. You speak about it, but I'm still gonna speak about it. Cause who the fuck is you to tell me what I can speak about?
Quick
The
question, just to
fuck?
be the devil's advocate. Is it only wrong to play on people's insecurities when it's a little bit true?
Yes, yes, Q.
All right,
but
That's why when I said
all right, all right, all right,
what?
all right.
You ain't say shit back.
I
And I don't
said
even know.
sorry. I
I
said
look, I never accept apologies because you is sorry, sorriest motherfucker I ever met.
Is it possible to also hear, if
I
they're
love it when
available,
you smile, Q. You got a
Pretty
beautiful
Kelly and
smile.
Vita's answer to the same
Yeah,
question?
Kelly Vita, what y'all think about it? And Vita ain't say shit, so I don't. She said call her lawyer. But Kelly, what's your thoughts on this? This man just said that it's been season one on Clubhouse. Apparently, we missed season one of this conversation, but apparently, he's saying that dark skinned women have said we're not allowed to speak on this title because we're light skinned.
Okay, I didn't say aloud. Hold on, that changes it. They what they say is that like women who present as you three do aesthetically should not lead these conversations on colorism because you're not affected by it in reality. You're speaking from a place of privilege. Although you're in solidarity, you don't know what they actually experience. So you should not lead these conversations. I'm just wondering what your response.
Kelly, he's asking you.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have any respect for what somebody thinks I should or shouldn't do. I don't give a fuck who you are, and I think a lot of those same people are the people who have no problem and feel it's cool to allow people like Pepe who are white to be in black conversations. So you get what I'm saying?
Ooh.
It doesn't matter to me. But if this makes people feel more comfortable, PTR, and let's keep going with the conversation. Fuck is we talking about? We don't know who 90% of these people are on this fucking app. Y'all sitting in rooms with motherfuckers who's teaching y'all about wealth, who's on Section 8 and living in poverty. Y'all never question them or if they qualified to fucking teach you something, but your dumbass sitting there listening, but had a nerve to talk about I don't qualify to talk. Suck my dick. That's my answer.
I don't get that terminology anyway, because if they're saying that colorism is an issue, right, which we know it is, isn't it the light skinned people who are doing the quote unquote dark skinned people wrong? So if she could speak to her side of the coin and influence them to be more aware of what's going on and tell them to stop doing what they're doing, then if she only told one person and only one person listened, she did her job for the day. To say that she's not allowed to speak on something, it don't matter who start the conversation. As long as dark skinned women come in here and say their experience, the conversation is going on. That's very petty and
Hold on.
corny.
You said light skinned women
It's
or light skinned people inflict the colorism. How is that possible?
What do you mean? In our community,
You
that's what's going on.
I
What do
do.
you mean? That's a lot of times
okay? No,
dark
you just
skinned people.
okay.
Okay. When y'all talking about racism, y'all talking about white people. Colorism is happening between us. So what are you talking
Correct.
about? I'm
All right.
confused.
So how you would just have to at least give me an example of how light skinned people that would include these moderators, right? Not them specifically, but people who
Yeah,
look like them.
light skinned
You're
people
saying that they
definitely.
so light skinned women are colorists? Is that what you're saying, or
Some
they
of them
inflict
are,
color?
as well as dark skinned women
So
can be
you're
colorist
using
towards
blanket
light skinned
statements
women
that have
too.
no
Well,
foundation,
hold
right?
on.
There's
Let
that's
her
not a
finish what
that
she's
what
saying.
the hell? I'm so confused right now. I'm
Don't
good. I'm
look.
good. You
We
got
can
it.
tell.
No,
This is
because I'm trying to see what you're saying, Ari. I'm listening to you, and I don't know why we getting into the space where we cutting off Ari when Ari is responding. Like, let her land her plane. When she close her mic, then you can respond.
what
I
I'm
don't understand.
saying is, right? Racism and colorism and stereotyping. This is all in the conversation that we're talking about, but they all mean three different things. If we're specifically talking about colorism, right? That means we're talking about what goes on in between us. Right? So if a dark skinned person says something or does something to do something to another dark skinned person, that's not colorism. That's just I have a problem with another sister. Right? It would take a light skinned person to do something towards a dark skinned person in order for it to be colorism, correct? So if Pretty Kelly is representing her side of the coin, right? Even though she's saying that she's not colorist, if another light skinned person that comes in here is colorist unbeknownst to her and can hear her speak about her experiences or the experience that she feel that dark skinned people are going through and change their ways, then she's done her job. It doesn't matter who starts the conversation. As long as some dark skinned people come in here and give their experience, I don't see the issue. That's what I'm saying.
Can
I
I?
Okay.
don't get what's
Oh,
the
my bad,
problem.
so
Nita.
so
I thought I
I
was
can
going
I
I
ask a
through the
do feel
question,
spot.
like
y'all?
how y'all doing? I do feel like
Well, am I
goddamn.
allowed to respond to Erie? Because
I
I was
do
supposed to wait till
Yeah,
she
he,
closed
yeah,
her
he
mic to
do.
talk.
Yeah, no,
so
no.
yeah, let her
You know what? I appreciate you being patient, kind of. But go ahead, Renee. We haven't heard from Renee yet.
hey, how y'all doing?
I'm doing lovely. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, baby.
I know that's
Um
right. This is my people. They're my people right here. They're my people. Hold on. What you got?
but I do feel like both sides of the coins they do go through colorism. I do feel like light skinned women they go through colorism just like us dark skinned women because, like for example, if I'm getting into it getting into it with some girl and I'm dark skinned, she light skinned. If she could call me your fucking cockroach. See, I could call her your fucking high yellow bitch. See, now that's colorism, and a lot of times we take low blows at each other when like we get into it with each other and we just go based off our skin color, and but that's still another person going through colorism. Just like I feel like some light skinned girls, even in high school, I've seen some of girls when they light skinned they get jealous on a lot. They get fought on a lot. They get their ass whooped a lot. They get into these drama situations a lot because they're pretty. They probably got softer looking hair, curly hair, and then you got somebody that's hating on her, that's darker than her, and want to just attack her because she's pretty. But that's still a light skinned girl going through colorism. Like if some people just picking on her because she light skinned and they just call her your beige yellow motherfucker or your high yellow, oh you the white man's bitch. That's still going through colorism on her coin. Now However, when it comes to society and social media, and when it comes to, film and TV shows, a lot of times people want the next closest thing to white, which is light skinned women. So, but I do feel like, yes, the light skinned women, they do go through colorism as well, and by them having more privileges, some light skinned women don't. Because especially if a light skinned woman don't really look that good, she still go through colorism. It's just like we're not the only one that go through stuff. I feel like, yes, us dark skinned women, we do go through a whole lot of more bullshit, but we ain't the only ones on this earth that be going through colorism. They got plenty of light skinned women that go through jealousy problems, and they don't really even be doing nothing for real. I've actually met some very sweet women that were a light complexion, and they had nothing against or no animosity towards that other woman. But I sometimes I do feel like some of us be jealous of y'all. Not me, but I do feel like their energy. Like some those women just be jealous for no reason.
DJ, I gotta ask a question real quick. Um, is it fair to say that colorism, the act of colorism, does not actually come from light skinned women, but perpetuated by other people because of their complexion?
Thank you.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm reading it. I'm reading what Kelly said in the chat. Like the definition of the word is one thing, but the feel, feeling it to me, I, I'm a woman. So in my personal experience, my first thought is naturally it's gonna land on women and how they experience of the treatment of men. Right. That's my first thought process in this conversation. Then I had to go and sit down and recognize, like, oh, well, men experience this too. You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole nother thing. You know what I'm saying? Then we got to break it down by, within a job, within, you know what I'm saying? However, people looking at you, and also within relationships. Oh, let me not say that word, because why did I say that word?
Yeah.
But I definitely think that it's it's a multifaceted issue, and it's a problem, because the problem is really simply, to me, my personal opinion, is a European standard of what is if it's like what Renee was saying, if it's white, it's right. So the closer to white it is, the more correct it is, and the better, allegedly, in some people's opinion. And if we gonna be honest with each other right now, who really started all this shit is our grandparents and great grandparents, and really put that shit into a lot of people's mind because of how
Hmm.
they felt. And you know what I'm saying? I really think that that's a conversation for another day, because I ain't trying to drag my own family or less nobody else's family. But this is where this conversation comes into effect at. Because somebody said it in the chat, and I definitely agree with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think no white people is looking at a light skinned person and being like, oh, they white. No, like
Hmm.
they made the one drop rule. The white people made that one drop rule. Like, bitch, you ain't that. Whatever you fuck you think you is, you ain't that. Even in New Orleans with the Passe Blanc, it's like, okay, you could pass, meaning they don't know, they can't see it on you. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want.
Hmm.
So that's what they like. So at this conversation, I think it's a lot of different angles, but definitely, me personally, and I can only speak for myself, I don't think that it's a thing of women per se, light skinned women perpetuating that. I think, if anything, the conversation is more about when we have about men's preferences, because men have preferences, and they're loud and proud about their preferences. And I think that makes other people feel like, damn, what the fuck kind of shit is this? But you have to understand there, and somebody said it earlier, I'm not sure, I don't know if it was you, Connor,
Yeah,
the
it was.
indoctrination,
We in the same vein.
right? The indoctrination to that concept of, if it's white, it's right. And so I think this conversation is actually important. It was you, Connor. Your ass talking about something. This sounds like a season one conversation.
It is a
No,
season one.
no, look, let me tell you what. This a throwback. All
There
right,
we go
throwback.
to season
Check
one.
this
You right.
out. Fuck that, because we're gonna keep this shit moving, because conversations are had, but ain't nobody can't have no conversation the way we do, where everybody get to speak and really say their thoughts, and we could gain some understanding from each other. You know what I'm saying? So, but neither here nor there. Pat on the back, Kelly. Pat on the back, myself and Vita. I love us, but neither here nor there. I just think that I really think this is a conversation that plays out so frequently on this app and in real life, but people just stop right there. As soon as that little conversation pop up, it's like, oh nope, don't want to have that one. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I felt the same way. But I think it's a difficult conversation and it's important to have. So fuck it. You know what I'm
It
saying? Let's have.
Can I respond to Erie? Or
You want to talk and talk.
well,
for
y'all let her.
real.
Y'all shut me up to let her respond to me. So
And yeah, you still remember that shit? You living in the past, Connor.
y'all living in season one. We right there
We
with.
got new people on the stage. We would like to welcome all the new speakers on the stage. We got Darius, we got
Oh yeah,
Lil
let
Boogie, we
Darius.
got Chosen up. Asara is on the phone. She came up. Um, what you got? What you got, real quick, Renee? I see you hopping off your mic.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it kind of reminds me. It's like a modern paper brow. Like the what's it called? The paper bag test they did back in the day.
Uh huh.
Yeah, it's kind of like that modern paper bag test. Like when people they used to, the whites they'll have like the paper bag, and if you don't match the bag, then you really not considered that. So I do agree that it do stems from our grandparents going through that, and then by them going through that, when people go through a lot of pain, they usually reflect it onto their children and they pass on. And I do feel like colorism, it is a poison effect to our community, because I feel like all women and all men should love their skin color, because at the end of the day, me, you, shit, we could both walk in the store, shit, we still niggas to these white motherfuckers, we still niggas. I mean, we ain't really hot and mighty, like when they look at us. So it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm confused.
I don't know what you confused about.
Not your statement, like that, like Khan just put in the chat, like white people see light skin as safer and more tolerable than dark skin. From who? Like white people see niggas as niggas. You out your mind if you think they separate the two.
That's
They
what I
don't.
just said.
I'm talking to Khan,
Oh
baby. I'm
yeah,
not
no,
talking to
he
you.
referring to.
Oh, my bad, my
He
bad.
he reading off in the chat.
Yeah, I was
So
reading the chat.
so
Yeah,
so
no, me and you are
Darius,
saying
what's
the
your
same thing. That's what I agreed with you. I said yes. That's why I'm confused. I'm agreeing with you and disagreeing with Khan.
right? So
Like I,
what's
that
your
it
thought?
doesn't.
What's your she? I
I
think.
mean, I don't understand this. Colorism is a thing we deal with in our community. We understand where it started. No one is. I don't think anyone is ignorant to that. We all understand why it's here, but I would hope that we all also understand it's only for us. The dark skin and light skin beef is only our beef. White people are not running around picking between the two. Y'all are all niggers, both of y'all. Like it's the same. So that's my only conversation. Like I was just listening to people like trying to make it seem like one was better than the other to other races. Not to one another, we can have that conversation, but we also know why we're here. Like we understand why light skinned and dark skinned people have the beef they have. It's also still a product of white supremacy and what they've done. So we are where we are, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still our problem. We got to figure it out for ourselves. We can't pretend like they give a fuck. They don't. You niggas is all niggas.
And can I
Yeah.
say, just to add on to what Darius is saying, there's actually like there's studies and historical evidence to what he's saying. If you look back, right, when we were slaves, we were the majority of people in the nation, right? They were scared not because well, just because we were black, yes, but not only because of that, because like if we had decided to rise up and fuck them up, they would have been fucked up. We outnumbered them, so their plan was to use light skinned people, like promise them shit that they were never going to give them. So they would basically be the Uncle Toms and shit. And it worked. Like, unfortunately, a lot of the times it worked. The light skinned niggas thought that they were going to be treated differently. So they would, you know, create whispers or tell on, you know, their fellow slaves or let them know massa, a good massa, but they never got shit from it. So their whole thought process was for us to think that they thought light skinned people were going to be treated differently. They never planned to treat us differently. And in 2023 it hasn't changed. Niggas are definitely all niggas.
Um, I'm not too sure how, like, what is, the whole thing behind colorism in America, but in the Caribbean, it's definitely like, you know, i- it's also people outside of, the Black community that perpetuate colorism. Like oftentimes it would be people of mixed races, like Black and something else, or even just something else. Like it could be a Spanish woman being in the Caribbean, an Indian, um, a mulatto or whatever, and oftentimes, that's what was being done. But a little brief, like, just a brief background, because I do know, like, in Trinidad and Tobago, when slavery was abolished, and whatever little system, was working out for people to function, um, I do know, and it's well known in like Trinidad that a lot of like the higher position jobs, the properties, the lands, the businesses, the government, job placements and so forth, however they used to say it, excuse me, these were all given to like you know East Indian people or the indentured servants that came to the Caribbean. It wasn't handed to Black people, and so we see in like culture even trickle down to today, we see like the reminiscence of it, like colorism is there, it's very prominent, but now it's also incorporated somehow into politics where, people vote because if they're Indian or they're African looking. And then there's biases as well that come with it, as in, oh, well, Black hair. This is just an example, y'all. Black hair isn't professional, but the mulatto, the East Indian, the native Indian, and so forth, they're presentable enough. But again, I'm just giving a sharing, like, a little insight for how it went in the Caribbean. But I just wanted to draw out that a lot of the times it's also women, who are not a part of the Black community, you know. But
I appreciate that, Asura. Chosen up. Wait, hold on. We got L Boogie, then we got Chosen up. I was away from my phone, my bad. I appreciate you sharing that, Asura, because it is. Am I saying your name right?
it's Osiri.
Asari. Oh, see, I looked at it. I said they got a little thing on the back. Asari. I don't like to say nobody name wrong. Asari. L Boogie, look alive. Yeah, you there with us?
Yes, ma'am. I'm just kind of enjoying the conversation right now with some of the points that were made, so I'm going to kind of keep quiet and just keep listening.
Okay, I see Chosen Up got a phone call. You there with us, Chosen Up?
Hey everybody, yes, I'm here. How y'all doing?
Doing lovely. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
What's your thoughts on this title?
I'm actually glad you guys are having the conversation. I'm enjoying listening. Um, Colorism to me, I feel like it's still an issue. As a dark-skinned woman, I have experienced colorism. Um, I don't think that when it comes to men, I feel like they are a big part of the problem when it comes to colorism. Um, as a dark skinned woman, I see the difference in how they look at the dark skinned women, not all, because I've also have been around men who only like dark skinned women, but dealing with black men, I think that they need to be more aware of how hurtful it can be for dark skinned women when they make the comparison, um, in how sometimes they will say that the lighter skinned woman looks better, she's better quality. And so I can just appreciate, you know, the conversation being had because everything starts with the conversation. I do know that colorism goes on both sides. There are dark skinned women that, you know, think that lighter skinned women may be, not as equal to them or, you know, not as strong or whatever they feel. Me personally, I don't do those type of things. I love all people. And I respect people for the respect that they show. Um, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it so far.
But question, chosen up. Do you feel like, you know, us as women, do you feel like we also have a little bit of colorism in us when we say, oh, well, we would rather dark skinned men than light skinned men? Because some women feel like light skinned men are more feminine.
It's crazy that you say that because every time most of the time I hear women say that, it's usually light skinned women who say that. That they don't want a light skinned man, that they want a dark skinned man. And sometimes I'm like shocked to even hear them say that, but I guess opposites attract. But women, yes, we definitely play a part in that as well. And I think that these are just the lasting effects of, where we come from and uh in dealing with slavery. I know that slavery has gone away, but the lasting effects of traumas and things that we have gone through can sometimes last a lifetime if they're not dealt with. Um,
Hmm.
and so, yeah, we all are to blame. We all make the world go round. We've all put our hand in the cookie jar in some type of way, whether it be you not standing up for what's right or you actually taking part in what's wrong. And so it's just really important that we continue to talk about these type of things and address it because the closed mouth won't get fed. And as long as we stay quiet, then we'll never make the changes that are necessary.
Yeah, I do feel like and like and fun fact, trauma do run in the DNA. Trauma, generational trauma, it does run in the DNA. So it has stemmed from you know the light skinned slaves being in the house with the massa, and the darker women would usually have to work the fields with the men. So I can kind of see why back then they held such a hatred towards the women in the house, but see, they wasn't treated no better. And then over time, as the years went by, even though we're out of slavery and it has been abolished, but we still have that um trauma running in our DNA. So now it went from that to now you got modern society. Now you got light skinned women having more opportunities in the acting field and movies and shows and music videos and like for example like Ice Spice. I just personally kind of feel like they just put her as famous just because of how she looked. And then most of the time when you do see certain darker women that are artists, they really don't they're not as shown as much. I do feel like some darker skinned women have to work um bend over backwards more than the average light skinned woman. um but again, I just feel like by all that trauma running in us, I feel like we still have like that hatred amongst each other like we did years ago. So it's just that we have a different category now that we see colorism rather than having us being in a house with the masters. Of course not, but
Hey,
You know,
and
it's
I
still the
ain't gonna
same
hold
thing.
you. I ain't gonna hold you, Renee. I'm gonna tell you what, right? So I think this shit goes so deep to the point where light skin attracted to dark skin, and dark skin attracted to light skin. Different reasons, but it's both some kind of way in our mind trying to create a balance, right? It's a genetic trying to create get back to some type of balance. But and I'm just saying that I'm thinking out loud, but neither here nor there. Ice Spice definitely looked like she got fetal alcohol syndrome, and so I be tripping like, man, this was going on. Like this girl, mama was drunk 9 months.
Girl, I'm
I'm
telling
sorry.
you,
I'm wrong for that. I'm wrong for that. I'm gonna tell you what. God forgive my heart. You know I don't like to disparage
shit, you
nobody. I
telling the
love
truth,
everybody.
shit. You telling
But
the
that
truth.
girl look like she is on Down syndrome, and that's God forgive me.
Woo,
The
child.
Lord,
You said it, I thought it, honey.
God, you know my heart. You know I don't like to talk about nobody children and this and that. Neither here nor there. But she do. She do.
But it's
When I
true
She
first
though.
seen
really
her, I
Oh
said,
does.
my
"This girl's
god. But
retarded or
it's
something." And it's
true.
the way she rap. It sounds like a retarded. God,
Right,
you
it
know I can't.
do. It
You can't even say that word no more. They recording us. Somebody say that. I can't even say the word retarded no more. But she definitely giving Down syndrome. I think I could say that. Maybe that's ableist. I don't know. But neither here nor there. Somebody in the chat says definitely the body, not the face. And then I start thinking like, damn, these dudes out here smashing retarded. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Lord, you know my heart. I ain't calling just
The
out.
men be drooling off of her, baby. Look, the men be drooling off of her. They be Google eyeing
Can
her.
you ask the men? 'Cause ain't
Hey,
nobody
do me a
drooling
favor.
over
Pop this.
ice.
Pop this.
Ain't
30
nobody
seconds.
drooling over ice spice. That's for sure. She's out
What?
biting in my eyes. Ain't nobody drooling over ice.
Shit,
Maybe
she
Ruby
famous
I
Rose.
don't
out.
know.
Maybe
She
Ruby
viral.
Rose. But that ice.
She ain't viral because of us. You know, she viral because of the men. They be looking at her ass. Look at, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. She do look funny looking, but
Exactly.
again, she famous for a different reason. It's
Yeah,
not
but
because of her
Ice
her
Spice ain't
music.
all that though. From a man perspective, Ice Spice ain't got shit on Ruby Rose and Lauren London. I mean, Ice Spice look like she retarded, like
Hey,
DJ
but
said. I mean,
neither here nor there. We not talking. This not our room about Ice Spice. Poor thing, she doing the best she can, and she probably. You know what? Let me tell you about Ice Spice. Actually, she have a presence on Twitter, and she is actually. She never said no wild shit. Ruby Rose and said some wild. It's a bunch of them that said
yeah,
some
that's
wild
about
shit.
shit. You right.
Cardi B, they done said some wild shit. All of them. So I ain't on no type of time like that. I feel like if you got a half a mind on your shoulders and got a heart, and you understand that women is women, then I'll fuck with you. I'm a woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm a woman's woman. Like I feel like women should stick together because these men think they got a leg up and they need to sit their fucking ass down. But neither here nor there. Story for another day. Conversation for another day. I'll go back to allegedly man bashing tomorrow. Today, what we doing is we standing in solidarity with all women because I feel like when women, and this is another part of the conversation, when we as women center men and their opinions about us, we're always gonna take the short end of the stick,
Mm-hmm.
and that's simple. And I really feel like that's because I was trying to figure out to myself why am I so feeling passionate about this conversation, like I'm disturbed, is because um men are pushing this narrative. If we're gonna be fucking honest, right, if we're gonna be real honest, it does occur in the workplace, it does occur in different scenarios that we're put in, but this conversation is mostly about women, some women feeling like they're better than other women simply because of how they look. But I think if you are a woman and you are taking care of your business, you ain't on no bullshit, you know what I'm saying, when you got kids, you take care of your kids, you know what I'm saying, your job, you work this and that, do your thing. Fuck what somebody else think about how you look. You know what I'm saying? And
For
I
real.
that's this is where we get into the conversation of true empowerment of women, because if we're gonna sit up here and judge ourselves based off what every man say, baby, when I tell you you'll be in a tornado, in the storm, you would never be able to put your feet on the fucking ground. That's and I would like for all of us to move away from that concept. Who are you? Fuck how you look. Who are
And
you as a person?
I can honestly say, see, that's the reason why I'm kind of glad that even growing up in New Orleans. See, we're a gumbo pot over here, because I also do feel like it all depends on where you're from too, because down here in New Orleans, I mean, yeah, yeah, you got your people that got their preferences or whatever, but I don't know, like I was raised versatile, very diverse. Whites love the whites, Cajun love the Cajuns, Creole love it's we diverse over here. I mean, you can literally see a Creole person with a white person, an Asian person drinking a hand grenade. Like, I don't know. I'm glad that I can honestly say I was not raised with colorism mostly in my life. I've always had light skinned friends that were homegirls, no jealousy, nothing. But now I have witnessed colorism, but as far as me, no. I'm really glad around the city, well, me growing up, I've never experienced it. Even with dating, like my dating life or nothing, I never okay. Yeah, I never really, yeah, cause I ain't gonna lie, I've dated light skinned men. No, that's not my preference, but am I eliminating him? No, no. You know, um and no, they're not feminine or soft. So I don't believe when women say that ain't true.
I wanted to say to actually ask DJ, do you think though that because mind you, I do. Do you think though also with the men is based on your perspective, how you choose to see it? Because for example, um, if you're a dark skinned woman and you with a man and he cheats on you with a light skinned woman, that can have cheating in general has extreme traumatic effects. But you could choose to see that as him being colorist or preferring that or whatever, or you could choose to see it as men are fucking sluts,
Can,
worthless nothings. I don't
can
know.
I get on my? Can I say an
No,
exact
I agree
example,
with that.
DJ?
But again, it go back to what we was talking about earlier, Kelly. It's based off of how you internalize your own life and your own interactions with others and your perspective. So if you feel like it's always something else going on, yeah, you're going to attribute it to that. But if you just feel like, oh, this motherfucker just fuck on anything,
Yeah. DJ, can I say
then
something
you
real
then
quick?
you yeah. Or that's Gino, yeah.
Yeah. I would say back in my days when I was running around, Kelly, you right. Preference, like I got a best friend, right? He loves red girls. That's just that's his preference. But he will deal with a dark skin. I done seen him be in a relationship with a dark skinned woman too. But his preference is a red girl. Like his girl right now that he got, she's biracial. So that I knew he was going to end up being with uh a red bone or a biracial girl. Me, I didn't really my preference. I was just shit. I was just running around. I didn't give a what color she was. You feel me? So Kelly's right. Like I didn't have. I had my one girlfriend. She was brown skin, right? The red girl we call in Florida we call them red. We don't call them light skin. We call them red. So the red girl that I started messing with, it wasn't no like a black girl and red girl thing. It was just she beautiful. I like her, and that was it back then. So Kelly, you're right. We were just men. We don't. Some men do like preferences. I just know how I was and how my best friend was. Like his preference was at the end of the day a girl with lighter skin. That was his preference. 9 out of 10 times, me, I was just shit. I didn't give a fuck what color they was. So I think it's just it comes down to like where you grew up at, where you from, where you go to school at, things like that. Colorism, right now, as far as men go with women, shit, you gotta be a type of nigga that, that's your preference. So I'll just land with that.
And there's nothing wrong with preference, but when you start to put down, I think that that's a major problem, and it really needs to be addressed.
You're right, but I don't think why is men even down in them because they red. Like I don't. I don't know them type of men. I never been around them type of men that uses that type of shit and disrespect a woman because of her color or even to that extent. I never been around those type of people. So I understand, but I never.
Then what about
Again,
okay? Well, what
well,
about?
one second. I really got a question because I'm really trying to understand this. So, if a man's preference is women with big tits, and all he can actually get or has access to is A cups, so he gets with an A cup, and then later on down the line, a woman with huge tits acknowledges him and is interested in him. At that point, is it? You get what I'm saying? Like,
I
do
mean,
you get what I'm
yeah,
saying?
he got what he wanted. I mean, sometimes men only get what's available to them, Kelly. Sometimes that might not be in the where they at. So shit, he might get what his preference was. You know, like
Well, I mean, most. I mean, that's just like okay. Well, then most of the time, like when I see men, they go to the NFL. A lot of times when they get six.
This is very interesting. But to what I was saying earlier, um, men's preference is a hole. If you stick a hole in a wall, his preference will appear to be plaster, and that's just what that is.
right.
So you can look at it how you want to look at it, but
That's a fact. That's a fact. I agree 100%. That's my point. So it don't come down to like a red girl or dark skin girl or things. It don't come down to that. It just come down to what a nigga want to fuck with. That's basically what it is. I mean, then like sister said, like when they make it to the NFL, they get money and shit. I don't understand why they go to the white girls. That's some weak ass shit if you ask me. I don't think that has to do with colorism though.
The little comments, like it's kind of like when you have kids, right? Like you might not be like putting them down harshly, but the little comments that you say to your child growing up is going to affect them throughout their life. So like on this app, I was in a room and this man, he prefers light-skinned women, like the ones that are kind of more leaning toward like the mixed side. But when he was saying what he liked, he said, I don't want no nappy headed, dark skinned woman. And so it was kind of like offensive to all the dark skinned women. And it was like, damn, like that's like it's like he probably didn't realize like how those type of comments affect dark skinned women. We don't have a problem with you wanting a light skinned woman. Like nobody has a right to tell anybody who they should or can and cannot be with. Like be with who you who your heart is calling for. But to say, I don't want no nappy headed dark skinned woman, like, and you're black and your mom's black, like that's it's just
Yeah,
crazy.
that's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. But that is some nappy. There's some nappy black women now. I mean, when you joke about it, but in the real sense, no, you should not be disrespecting a woman because of their hair, because of their skin color. You right. You right.
Right, because we can't help that we were born dark skinned and we can't help that God made our hair texture this type of hair. So for you to say that like and for men to be okay with that type of way of expressing their preference, for me, I just think that it's
Right, it is. Like that do be pissing me off as well. Cause I feel like okay, well if you okay, well you wouldn't want no man to tell your daughter that she a nappy headed ass little black girl. You wouldn't want a man calling your daughter that, so don't tell a woman that. I feel like ain't nothing wrong having a preference, but don't shit on the other complexion of women. Because again, our ancestors are that color, like the dark beautiful melanin color way before they started procreating with the Europeans. They were that color that y'all call what y'all call it, what the app with the African booty scratcher, that's what y'all call it. But y'all gotta realize y'all talking about your ancestors skin tone. And I know our ancestors turning over their graves right now. How some of these not everybody, but people that do be saying them little jokes, because every joke has a little shade and a little truth in it, and I don't like it when people be making little joke when men make jokes like that. Um, and I noticed that even when men they do get successful, like for example, the NFL, most of the time they they don't even marry black women. They usually marry like white women. So,
That's sad. That's some sad shit right
Can
there.
can I jump in on this one? A lot of times men preference is the opposite of their mothers because sometimes they have trauma in their household. And so a lot of times, like say for example, some men, not all, I'm not saying all, I'm saying some, a lot of times you got people, parents and grandmothers and people around them putting those preferences in their heads. Like you never had a grandmama who will say, who especially in the South would say, girl, don't play in the sun because you'll get dark. And sometimes subconsciously these stick in our head, and it's a lot of times that we don't even realize that it passed down to generation that light skin is better, or having a certain hair texture is better, or having a certain eye color is better, because it's something that's been passed down from generations from generations, and it sticks with us. And it necessarily something they don't self-consciously even know that they're saying.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to say really quickly what I had said in the chat. There's nothing wrong with preference, right, at all. There's something wrong when the shit is added, nappy headed, black, da da da. That's when it becomes a fucking problem. Because at that point, it's no longer a preference. There's hate involved, and the saddest part of it all is it is self hate, as you all said. So yeah, hate for others who look like you is hate of you. So there's that. Rico, what do you think about the topic?
Oh, it's a problem. It's been a problem. I had three sisters. They were all, you know, bright or yellow or whatever you want to say, and they had a lot of problems growing up with other dark skinned girls. I remember when School Days came out, the movie. It's a thing that I don't know. I think all shades of black women are beautiful, but let's be honest, when you look at the magazines, I remember a time in hip hop, black women couldn't get in the video. Dark skinned women, Hype Williams, all that was doing the casting. You go back and look at all those videos and see how many Latino women and fair skinned women are in those videos. And so it's just now recent nuance within the last 5-10 years that, a lot of dark skinned women. I think Kelly Rowland is a screen, and I got nothing against. I think she just as pretty as Beyonce to me. But let's be honest, that a lot of people, when it comes to fair skinned people, even with men, there's a lot of jokes around light skinned men. We've all heard them. Like dark skinned men believe that light skinned men are more feminine than them. It's a fact. All the dudes that I knew that was shooters on my block was my complexion. I can a lot of civil rights leaders, but that black people in particular thought that the darker you were, the closer you were to some type of pure blackness. Like I don't know where this shit come from, but it's what they thought. So it's been an issue. It's always been an issue. I've seen a lot of pretty girls that didn't do anything wrong, but women had hate for them for no reason. Like you don't get to choose who pick and choose. I mean, you do, but what I'm saying, who gives you attention? Like it just is what it is. And so yeah, it's always been a problem. And to me, I'm glad to see a lot of this shit changing around. With black people, we need to do better.
Is
Hey,
it fair
shit,
to
Rico.
say, really quickly, I just want to know from everybody, is it fair to say that colorism in and of itself is a self hate issue more than an issue outside of the person?
That's a fact. I agree.
I ain't gonna lie to you,
Yes.
Kelly. Say this: self hate is a part of it, but the reason for the self hate, if we want to go a little, pull one more layer off that onion and cry a little bit further, the reason for the self hate is the real uh cause. You know what I'm saying? It's the real root of the issue. And so I definitely agree that it is self hate, but just one more layer back off that onion and see where that self hate come from, and that shit is crazy. It's really it's sad. It's disheartening. You know what I'm saying? Like on a lot of deep levels, it really is. But self hate is part of it. It's just one branch of the.
With the root, hey
So
DJ,
wait 1 second,
go ahead.
1 second. I just wanted to ask DJ the next question. So then, is it not self hate but misplaced hate?
There we go. There we go. Is what it is misinformation. That's what it is, and I think it's just simply believing something that someone else told you. A motherfucker threw a goddamn rock in your pot of gumbo, and you bite into that bitch thinking it's a piece of sausage. And it's a silly thing to say, but
Hey,
that's how I feel. That's how I feel. You expecting something, you expecting that shit to be what you think it is, but it really ain't what you think it is, and it's wrong. And that shit need to come up out that goddamn pot. It's ruining the whole pot. But that was the probably the most elderly shit I ever said on stage, and I'm gonna close my mic.
I appreciate that wisdom, DJ.
Light skinned women won't even. A lot of fair skinned women don't even like fair skinned men. So it's just a fact that when it comes to being like men, like they like the Tyrese Gibson era. That shit is real. Like Idris Alba. Think about, like, if you think about men, right? As far as black people go, I mean, you can go back to Elder Barge probably, or like some shit like that. But for Prince, man, I don't even count his ass. But for the most part,
What Prince ever did you?
but what I'm saying, Prince to me, he was like, he was ambiguous. Like people always try to put that shit on Michael Jackson, but I think Prince was way worse when it came to like this in between gray area of sexuality.
He
They try
showed
to
it.
put that
He
shit on.
showed it. He
They
showed
try
it.
to
Prince
put that
showed
shit on Michael Jackson jacket, but I think Prince was a bit. Anyway, that's neither.
Hey, but I will say, if I'm gonna be honest with y'all, right, in the conversation, I think I think that some level our ideologies influence our genetic desire. We all have a genetic desire to reproduce with what we consider to be strong, what we consider to be advantageous. So in that regard, we're all hypergamous, men and women, dark and light, white and whoever the fuck else. The Migos, all of them. We are all hypergamous in a genetic sense, meaning we all date up and choose to reproduce with people in our mind that we feel like is going to produce the best offspring. And so this is why we really need to wake up the conditioning that's in our minds, because I think a lot of people are making decisions permanent, like
I got you. I
g-
got you. I follow you.
you understand what I'm saying?
I
We're
follow you. I'm
making
gonna say
permanent decisions. A child is a permanent decision. Okay, once a child is born, that's a permanent decision that is going to change the world. Every child that's born on this earth is has changed the world, whether they're a good person or a bad person or a loser or successful or whatever. Every child born has changed the world. So if we actually address our ideologies and understand why we are attracted to our quote unquote preference, then I think that will go to a deeper scale of what it is we're actually trying to do. And I think a lot of times, and I'm just speaking from being a person that's a considered a light skinned woman, I would never have a baby with a light skinned dude. You th- you want me to have this little white baby running around here? I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do it. It's just gonna be it's just gonna be weird to me. But neither here nor there. I think that in the same level, it goes to all sides of the field. Why people are attracted to who they are attracted to,
Right, right.
or
You
so
know,
based off of an ideology than it actually is what would change the world as far as genetically.
yeah, facts. Because like
Yeah,
now, if you want to speak from a ide- ideologically
Not
standpoint,
Benny.
like metaphorically speaking, like the
ideological. Say it with me.
yes, yeah. So
Say it with me.
ideologically, so the truth,
Ideological.
the
Stand.
truth is the truthfulness is
You're
not
so close. We're not gonna go forward until you say it right, Benny.
ideologically,
Ideological.
ideological. So
Good
so
job. Good job. A
so
plus.
so so the truth speaking, like if you want to speak from a scientific standpoint,
Risky behavior.